Have you ever listened to a piece of music and it gave you a physical response, like goosebumps or chills, or maybe it made you cry? This music that I'm going to share with you today did that for me, and it may do that for you also. And because its creator is a good friend and colleague of mine, I decided to record a deep dive conversation and discuss the origin, the journey, the lyrics, and the meaning behind this operatic, cinematic, orchestral beast of an EP entitled Enter the Vortex Act 1. And I hope you enjoy this conversation because I sure did, and that's why I'm sharing it. Enjoy, and thanks for watching. Bye. All right. Well, hello, Dylan Louise.
Hi, Laura.
Laura. I got my
Laura.
triple A's on today, like you
Yes, you
should.
do.
So I thought it'd be fun to kind of show a little bit of the plan today. So the name of our talk is Diving In with Mad Gallica, Dylan Louise,
Dilly
and
Lou.
Dilly Lou. Okay, I wasn't gonna go that that southern. Dilly Lou and Squirrel Girl talk it out.
Yes, love it.
So I wanted to show you something funny because maybe we can talk a little bit about our nicknames,
Okay.
just briefly,
Okay.
because you named me Squirrel Girl or
Yeah, and a brief
Squirger,
squirger,
Squirger.
because you are the master at squirreling away snacks. Like we go to catering, we go to lunches, we go to brunches. You're like, where's my little napkin that I can like this put this amazing little biscuit away for later. And then I'm horrible at it. And so then we'll be on a walk or hike, or it'll be like, Laura, I'm really hungry. And then you're like, well, and you reach into your little square satchel and have all of the snacks and treats from like the last few days. Like, oh, I remember that at catering a few days ago. Oh, wow, you got that. Great.
I'm like a tour prepper.
You really are.
In my suitcase, I have as much food as clothes. Sometimes I got my almond butter and
Mhm.
rice cakes. Because the thing is, sometimes I just want to make sure I have food in my room, and
It's
I don't
true.
want. So a squirrel's got to put her stuff away.
Squirrel's
But
got to put herself away. And also, like on a day off, like the last thing sometimes we want to do. I mean, I am like, what's my nickname too?
mole
Mole,
in a hole.
mole in a hole. Exactly. So this mole in a hole doesn't like to go out when she's really tired and just likes to be shut away from the world sometimes. And that's when I would benefit from being a tour prepper, but I'm just not. I'm so bad at it. I'm like room service. That's my tour prep.
But if you need a curling iron or eyelashes or all these other important items,
Very
maybe even
important.
a bath bomb
And a candle. I always
and a
bring a candle.
candle, but you're not going to have the survival snacks like the
No,
squirrel girl.
but you need two to tango. I mean, both are beneficial.
I know what you have, I don't have, and what I have, you don't
Exactly.
have. So we help each
Exactly.
other. It's so fun. It's so fun. Um, I wanted to share a little present that you gave me once upon a
Oh,
time.
yes.
My
My,
yard, my rules, my nuts. So good. And it inspired on the outside of my cabin studio. You'll get a kick out of this one too. Welcome to the nut
welcome to the nut
house,
house. I love it.
where being a nut is essential. Yes. So this is a true squirrel
Forever
studio
squirger.
forever.
Yes. Ever squirker.
And all of us can relate to moments of being a mole in a hole where we don't want to socialize and we want to go inward and just take care of ourselves.
Yeah.
And you and I both know that whatever that self-care routine on tour is, it's just so vital
Yeah.
to stay in some kind of balance,
Yeah.
which is hard when you're
Well,
so
yeah.
unbalanced on the road.
It's true, Laura. This is definitely true. But I've also discovered the last few months being in at home that I am a mole in a hole at home as well. Ben has this joke. We go out somewhere and then it's straight back home for me.
Straight back
Okay,
home.
straight back home.
Oh, and another good one that we should remember is mole knows the way.
Oh, this is
Because,
true. This is
right.
true.
Do you want to explain that one?
I just have this internal mole compass when you're in the bowels of an arena or someplace like that where I just know the way. I know the way. And
Back to the
everyone's
dressing room.
different. Back right back home. Right back home.
Right back home. Catering, dressing room, stage. That's all you
That's
need
all
to
you
know.
need.
3 things.
That's all you need.
Mole knows the way. I
Mole
love
knows.
it. Oh my God. It's been such a ride for us, I mean, I was reminding you on April 1st of this year, you just released Enter the Vortex, and we're
Yes.
going to talk about that, but I was reminding you that the first day I met you was on April 1st,
Oh yeah.
and I guess 2017,
2018.
2018.
2018, yeah.
And
Oh, I remember that
it's
day
just been
so well.
such what an experience you and I have had
I know.
that only you and I like forever will we need each other to just piece together all these crazy memories and the
Yeah.
ride that we've been on
Yeah, and
and
our personal
coming,
lives too. I mean, good
of course,
God,
like
like
let alone
everything.
all the
It's just
personal.
like,
Of course, you and I both
yeah.
got you got married twice. I got married once.
Second
And
time's a
just
charm.
joking. Second time's a charm. But I mean, aside from all of our personal journey, just also the journey of the work,
Yeah,
right, as
yeah.
colleagues and what we went through. It's just
Mhm.
you're so special to me, and I
You are.
just because we have all these crazy memories and all these places we've been together, and as things pop up in my memories or Google Photos, it's just like, oh my God, we've
So
grown so
cool.
much
We have.
too.
Yeah.
And
Wild.
it is
Uh,
so wild.
I
I
remember the
know.
first day I met you. It was an immediate hug. It was like an immediate, "Hey, I know you. I know you."
You're so sweet. Dylan's just like a shiny ball of light.
You are too. What are you talking about?
It
We're
was
just
so fun. We were
ooh,
like in from the get
happy to
go,
go.
and it's never stopped. And I'm just, yeah, and I'm so proud of you about this incredible piece of work that you've put out into the world.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, we'll do a little diving in. I'll kind of change this up a little bit. And I apologize for the rain noise. It
I
is
love
for
it.
real. I'm in a wood box here, and when it
So
rains,
cozy.
one of my goals eventually is to get a green roof, because then you have the more mossy kind of absorption, and I think it'll help a lot with the sound, et cetera, et cetera. So
Ooh,
that's in the works
that's a great
someday.
idea.
Yeah, I hope so.
I love the rain. It's like one of my go-to sleeping sounds. Like I just love
Yeah,
hearing
you would like Holland. It
it.
rains a lot here. So a little kind of overview of just kind of some of the stuff I wanted to chat with you about today is healing journeys. Obviously, your EP that just came out April 12th, Enter the Vortex. A little bit about Buddhism and meditation, because you and I co-created this meditation that's available on YouTube, and then listening to some of the songs from the EP, and me asking questions about them and unpacking the lyrics.
Yes,
So, are you up for it?
I am so up for it. Thank you for having me
Of
today and
course, of
talking with me about
course.
this.
Celebrating you. So,
Oh,
I wanted to talk to you a little bit about these images. As I know you very well, eyelashes, curling iron, big hair, sequins, studded jackets, So this image that's on the right side is like, yes, right? This is kind of like your fantasy outfit, or like this intergalactic warrior outfit, and very bold, and kind of this is how I imagine you in a way, like as a star in my mind, and how even the first day I met you, this was your essence. And then and then this image on the left, which is the cover of Enter the Vortex, it really has this different kind of vulnerable, I don't know, like obviously mysterious. Her mouth is covered. You kind of wonder if she's not able to speak, or kind of what her story is, right? It has this real kind of mystery and vulnerability about it. And so, who are these two characters? And can you break it down a little bit about just kind of these differences of the image?
yeah, it's a great question. Wow. They're both important aspects of who I am in my journey. And it's so interesting how the image on the left came about. So they were both taken by this amazing photographer in New York City, Brian Ray Norris. And when you're, as you know, when you are in the studio and you're kind of co-creating and all these ideas are coming, let's try this, let's try this, let's try this. Brian, we were listening to the music and I told Brian kind of what the story was about. And he said, "One second, I'm gonna go grab something." And he went into his back room and he pulled out this big bundle of blue tulle. And he said, "Let's play with this. Let's put you in the vortex." And he's like, "I can do, all of his editing sorcery afterwards." So that image on the left was really this organic, playful, creative moment. I had no idea that it would end up being on the cover. And what it is to me is going deep within yourself. That is going into the vortex. A vortex can mean many different things, but like the meditation that you and I did, I want to help facilitate a way for people to find the answers within themselves and to access their true essence, their authenticity, which is also the picture on the right. That's like my soul, my like Medeus, Mad Gallica. That's like who I am as well, inside the within. But yeah, so that's a little bit about those
So
images.
she's kind of like held in the cocoon of the
Yes,
vortex or so. All
exactly.
right.
Peering
Yeah.
through the veil between worlds.
Oh, nice one. Nice one. And also this one, which is, I also, again, this question like, I have never seen you wear a button down blue shirt like that in my life, by the way. And so here is Dylan, Dylan Louise or whoever this character is, right? Sleeping on the ground. Obviously, again, just very real, right?
Mhm,
Like not glamorous, like
mhm.
just existing. What is going on? I mean, there's so much to this image, and again, they're both you. But yeah, what is the story? And again, your choices about you without eyelashes on the
Mhm.
cover of something very unexpected, very undillan in my knowing of you.
That's so funny. Well, the button-down shirt, that was a Sophia Melkin contribution.
Contribution, I
So she did the
totally.
photo shoot with me. She's actually friends with Brian, and that's how the whole thing got set up. And I realized, I had sent Brian an array of inspiration photos and ideas. And when I wrote this music, I feel I had just had this kind of near death experience, out of body experience, if you want to call it that. So I wanted to portray that as part of the imagery and the backstory of this.
Oh,
So, but I realized when I got to New York City, I had brought all of the fun, glamorous, fun costumes, everything, but I'd forgotten to bring a nightgown because I wanted to be like in a nightgown, sleeping, like kind of going away, like my body's at peace and I am going, and my soul, who's at the top, Medea, as you can call her, which also means my God, because I believe that there is that energy of God or whatever you want to call it inside all of us. So we all have a Medeus inside of us, if that makes sense. So anyway, um, she had that on her, that shirt that I'm wearing.
mhm.
And so I ended up, I was like, this will kind of portray nightgown-ish. Let's just go with it.
This
So
is how this is how a mole in a hole wears a nightgown.
exactly.
That's so funny. Yeah, I can. That makes a lot of sense. That makes a
Yeah.
lot of sense. So funny, Dylan. So you mentioned briefly there, just this the outer body experience that you were having. So obviously this kind of girl was kind of lifting out of herself. Can you describe that even a little bit more?
Yeah.
And what happened, and is that where it was that kind of some of the source for the inspiration for this music or
Yes. Yes. So I was in college at the time and I got really sick. And I had started with mono, and mono usually lasts maybe 3 months. Well, this kept going for 9 months. And then it kept going beyond that. And then when I would go in and get blood work done, the doctors would say, "Okay, we see you have mono still, but there's also another secondary virus that we can't put, like, we don't know what it is. So here's a bunch of antibiotics, good luck. And that would be my experience. Like, no one wanted to go the extra step further with me. And I was so sick and so tired. I didn't even have the energy to be like, no, let's investigate what's going on. I was just sick in bed for so much of every day and just kept getting sick, kept getting sick. And then I'd have like maybe 2 weeks of like, okay, I think I'm getting better. And then I'd get sick with something else. So my immune system was shot.
Right.
And I remember lying in bed, being so ill, feeling so weak that, like, the way I can describe it is like, if you imagine our soul has a tether to our bodies, like a cord, like an umbilical cord, that was starting to separate and weaken. And I felt myself lifting and almost floating. And I remember seeing this blurry figure next to my bed. And I asked her, am I dying? And she said, yes. And I knew at that point I had a choice to stay or to go. And it was very tempting to go because I was miserable and I wanted to leave my body. But I held on, and when I made that conscious choice, no, I'm going to see this through, I started getting all of this imagery of where I came from before this life, like all of this stuff, like my mind would go off into the ethers and explore. And while I was in bed, I mean, it was almost like it was a spiritual experience for me. And whether people listening are spiritual or not, something was going on in my brain, whether you want to talk about it scientifically or spiritually, something was going on where I was connecting to something. And I started to hear all of this music to the point where it was like what I would consider sonic hallucinations, where I would sit in the room and I would be looking out with my eyes. I could see the room around me, but I would be tapped into music and I would hear it so loudly in my, like not just like I'm hearing a tune in my head. And I was hearing this music. It was outside of me. And I would hear these choirs, and then it would like fade in and out like an antenna that was tuned, like a tuning fork, fading in, fading out, fading in, fading out. And it was the weirdest, wildest experience I've ever had. And so it launched me onto this path of writing this music. And this music kind of is a 3-act concept album that tells a story and kind of where my soul's from. And, you know,
Such an incredible story.
It's so weird. It's so weird.
Did
But like I say
did
here,
your health improve after that experience of
yes.
seeing
Yeah.
your angel, basically? Or I don't know, what would you call it? The spirit guide?
I don't know. I feel like it was almost like my soul standing over my body. And I was my consciousness was talking to my soul in a way. I mean, I don't know. That's what it kind of feels like. So that image you just showed is kind of that representation of the soul reaching out to the body. Come with me. Let me show you behind the veil where we're from. Because when we come to Earth, I believe we forget who we are. And
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, I want to play the first track of the album because this is what I love about the first track is it's the introduction to the whole world, right, into the story, and a lot of what you just explained, you really see it in the lyrics. So I actually made this lyric video, and then I might pause and ask some questions about the lyrics, but we'll just have a listen, and I'll maybe turn off my rainy mic.
Okay.
Feel the ocean in your hand. Feel the sand beneath your feet. Feel the sunlight overhead. Are we alive or are we dead? Are we alive or are we dead?
I can't.
I'm
Oh,
so
here.
sorry to jump in.
That's fine.
Okay, so that are what was interesting, or one of the questions I had about this piece is the your use of pronouns. So there is this we, and then there's the you, but
Yeah.
then I'm like, but maybe they're the same person. So who is speaking?
I love that. Wow. It is like you've woken up from a dream and you're standing in this in-between world and you're surrounded by all of your people, your guides, your family, everything. And they are asking you, do you want to see more? Are you ready to see more of where you're from? And lift the veil, lift the curtain. So that's kind of the voice, I would say. And in fact, when I first did the demo of this, there was not a lead vocal in this. It was just backing
Choirs.
choirs. And Hayden Scott, who helped, he produced this with me. He made a very good point of, no, we need the audience to be able to follow you through this journey. And I'm so grateful that he gave, because it makes sense. But I had originally written it that way because of that visual of the first time you're supposed to really hear me is in the twinkly quiet section that you'll hear later on.
Right.
And before that, it's all just like these souls.
So does the we, are you in this we? Or are these
Yes.
just
Yes.
you are, right?
The audience, whoever's listening to this, they are part of the we.
Okay.
And then, yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. We're going to keep going. And then, of course, I'm going to interrupt again.
Yes.
You've entered the vortex, the star of your show. You've conquered your mind depth, the spark of your Come with us, conquer your death. We are human now, as we came to know. You are human now, but you won't be when you leave the show.
My favorite line, by the way, right here. You've entered the vortex, the star of your show. What does that mean?
This is your life. And you are, it's almost like what Shakespeare said, right? All the world's a stage and we're merely players or something like
Right,
that. I
right.
can't remember the exact line. But I like to think of ourselves as souls having a human experience, right? That's a very
Yeah.
common thing people say.
Right,
And I definitely
right.
believe that. We choose our bodies, we choose our role, we choose the life that we're going to have. And yes, you are the star of your show. And the show is your life on earth. What are you going to do with it? What are you here for? What's your purpose? Let's find out.
Yes. Hallelujah. Great answer. This is coming on my favorite part here.
Aw.
How I've dreamed to play your game. You got me wrapped around your finger.
Okay. So sensual, so embodied. Your expression of just this seductive world of pleasure of being human. You know, sometimes people feel like, yeah, paradise or heaven is here on earth. We have all these earthly delights, right?
Yeah.
Everything from, you know, pleasure that we feel with another person, or all the beauty that surrounds us, the smells, the tastes. And I just think that section, the way you embody that and express that, is just profound. And am I getting it correct? Was that the vibe?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's like music. It can be whatever vibe you want it to be as a listener. That's definitely a part of it for sure. When I sing that, I go into this place of what you're describing, feeling just like, oh my gosh, like cradled.
Life. Like it's like your
Life,
love
yeah.
letter to life.
It is. But there's another
so
part of it
beautiful.
too. The vocal, the way I express it vocally, there's an edge to it. And that is also clinging to life, and feeling like kind of portraying when I was in that in-between state, that weakness. There's a little bit of like this edge, this like the vulnerability. And that is also, I think, important in that part.
Right. And feeling a bit of the pain
Yes.
of loving. Yeah, because, you know, when I talk about some of the kind of ideas that, you know, again, it's in the Buddhist philosophy that some of this inspired, is also that, yeah, there's beauty, you know, all the things that we can enjoy in life can also create the same kind of suffering when we are attached to them or lose them, right? Even someone that we love, like the greatest love and the joy and the, you know, that this thing gives you can also give you that other side of it, which is immense pain if you lose them or if something breaks, you know?
Yeah.
So that is this kind of existential like problem with like the joy of life, right? Because anything,
totally.
you know, it's the flip
Yeah.
coin, you know, you can't
Totally.
have joy and love without, you know, fear and hate and, you know, all the dark forces. So yeah, life, I love it that you're singing to life. Like,
Oh, thanks.
all right.
And it's
did you want to say something?
and the tether, you're talking about, the wrapped around your finger. It's like this tether, and it's a very fragile tether that we all have to life, and it's a sacred tether.
I love it, Dylan.
Of love, life of love, life I am begging for your meaning. Life of love, life of love, life I am begging for your feeling.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I mean, there's obviously so much you could talk about with just the orchestration and all that. But today I really wanted to focus our conversation kind of on the story and the meaning of all these things. But it sounds just incredible with the
Oh,
orchestration. Just makes you want to be a violin player for a hot
oh my
moment.
God. Makes me want to go on tour with a live orchestra. Oh, to dream.
Hell to yes. So you obviously you have this chorus, right, of these voices like you described. So real quick, we're gonna jump into Reprise, which also has a choir of voices.
Mhm.
Let's check this out.
Are you the one who wields the dagger? Or the one who lets the dagger wield your hand? Are you the victim or the stabber? Are you willing to live life under command? Are you willing to be society's brand? Are you willing to enter the vortex and experience loss and sacrifice and suffering throughout the life you've got? Are you willing to enter the vortex and experience human experience, human
So dramatic.
So dramatic, so good, so good. Oh, we're big now.
Ooh.
So yeah, mix it up a little bit. So, okay, so the second track on Enter the Vortex is called Reprise,
Yes.
which to me is really strange because reprises are usually at the ends of works of music. A reprise is basically bringing back a theme, right? You're
Yeah,
repeating a theme.
Yes.
So what's the story on Reprise being the second track, and what's going on, please,
Well-
for someone like
It's like,
I'm lost.
what was that? That's so funny. So it was basically a tail end of this first song, Enter the Vortex, right? It's like the challenge, are you sure you want to do this? Are you sure? And so we are kind of bringing back that theme of enter the vortex, follow the light. Like, are you sure you want to do that? So it just, I don't know. And when I recorded the demos, every song seamlessly blends into the
Right.
next without a pause.
Right.
When we did it this way, now there's a little bit of pause, and I think that's good. Like live, I'd love to just play it back to back.
But it
it's
definitely has a
good.
connection. You can
Yes.
hear how it all connects. It's one
Yes.
thing for sure.
You know, ending on the 5 of the 1, and then on every song. But anyway, so to explain that video and that song a little bit more, when I had this spiritual kind of awakening, whatever you want to call it, experience, this is where the Mad of Mad Gallica comes in.
Oh yeah. Do explain.
Okay.
Because you don't
bear
seem
with
like
me.
when you think of mad, you think of angry, which is the opposite of what you are. I mean, you get pissed sometimes, I guess, but it's always been a bit of a peculiar thing to me. I'm like, why mad? Like,
Yeah.
So explain the madness.
So the mad is actually like, the Mad Hatter, the crazy part of ourselves. That's what the mad is, what I'm always speaking to. And when I went through this experience and started writing this music, I would lie in bed in this in-between state, and my eyes would be open, but I would be in a restful state. And I would start to hear chatter. I would start to hear all of these voices trying to talk to me, saying things almost so fast I couldn't really understand what they were saying. I would feel the bed sink down. I felt like I was getting visited nightly because all of a sudden I've opened up my mind, and now people are trying to communicate with me. And so that's like, am I going crazy? Am I going mad? Like, I must be. This is not real. This can't be real. This can't be happening. So I looked into this from a spiritual angle and actually had some really great guidance from some people. And they said, the way that I like to explain it, when you open up your soul senses, which is what we do in the meditation, if you don't close them up, if you're just open, you're like a candle in the darkness, a flame. And lost souls, or that's what I call them, lost souls. I don't know if that's the right word for it, but you will be attracting things. You'll be visited by things sometimes. I know it sounds crazy, but this is my personal experience, and I don't know how else to describe it. So the video kind of explains that. The cast of my family and friends are kind of like the lost souls visiting someone who is opening up and about to enter the vortex, about to really dive deep within themselves and the mystery of who they are.
That totally makes sense. It totally
Yeah,
makes sense.
mad, right? It can't be mad
Mad.
without. It's a bit mad.
I wanted to just touch on this real quick, something kind of food for thought, and perhaps maybe it would relate to some of this conversation that we're having today about, healing and just this journey, this life journey that we're all experiencing. And I mentioned to you the other day, I've just been thinking lately that we're all on a healing journey in this lifetime. And whether it's different for everyone. Everyone has different kind of the spectrum of, let's say, trauma or experiences that they've had, the physical challenges, mental, spiritual, like all the things. But it's like life is just like we're all works in progress or something.
Yeah.
And I've just stumbled, kind of back onto some of the philosophies of Buddhism and based on these noble truths, right? That the first kind of, it's called dukkha, and it's like this idea that life is suffering, right? Life is, like we talked before, it's all kind of variations of it, but we have to accept that this is being human, right?
Yeah.
This is this human experience. And then the second noble truth is that there's cause to our suffering. There's a reason, and the reason, according to Buddhist philosophy, is because of attachment, expectation. It is our attachment to things why we are unhappy sometimes. Things, I want something, I'm expecting something to go a certain way. It doesn't go that way. I'm disappointed, right? And if we let go, so then 3 and 4 is basically how we kind of cope and deal with this. And that, they feel like the answer is that we release attachment to things. And there's a lot of truth in that. And the eightfold path, so 3 and 4 is kind of like how you're going through it. So the 8, I kind of mark these in colors because it kind of breaks out into 3 main parts, which is kind of like the wisdom, right? The right understanding. So at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, it's like you kind of see it for what it is. And you're like, okay, I'm going to work on this, right? The intention, like I'm going to go forward and, do my best or whatever. And then the orange sections are kind of like the action steps that we take with it, right?
Yeah.
How do we speak to ourselves and to others, right? How we use our words. What are we doing? Like, what are the actions, right? What is the lifestyle? What am I putting in my mouth? How much activity am I getting? How am I living, right? Those kind of actions. And then the yellow part in Buddhism, this is kind of where you start to do more of the deep dive. And this is based more on meditation practice. And that within meditation, you kind of get even clearer, or kind of the idea is to set yourself fully free, right? So that is ultimately the practice, and right effort, right attentiveness, right concentration. And I brought this up because you and I worked on this meditation project together, and obviously you wouldn't have done that if meditation or kind of some of these transcendental experiences that you've had, it's obviously put you on some sort of path that has been the inspiration for this music. So that's kind of why I wanted to touch on this. So, oh yeah, and here's kind of, those last 3 things, the effort, mindfulness, concentration, developing deeper focus and calm. So I guess my question for you is, how does meditation relate to you in your life? Is it something you practice? What have you gained or learned from it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think that my inspiration to really dive into meditation kind of stems from just being raised in a world with a lot of major religion that tell us that our answers and our power is outside of us and another entity that's out there, and that you have to pray to it. And, at least also in Southern Baptist, that whole, I'm in the Bible Belt, grew up in the Bible Belt. And it's, you aren't nothing. You ain't nothing without Jesus. That's what people say. You ain't nothing. You're a sinner, and meditation is it's kind of a rebellion to that in a way. It's let's go deep within ourselves and find our true power, because you are amazing and you are powerful and you are capable of miraculous, wonderful things. And so, and all of the answers that you can like are within yourself. You don't need to pay someone for the answers. You
Right.
don't need to go to church and hear some guy talking to you because he's the only one who can talk to God. I mean, you know, like you have a connection to this incredible
How did
source
you
within.
discover your spirituality or this practice? How did you land there?
Oh, wow. Okay, so when I was little, it started when I was very, very little, and I would go out. I would, and my family's not really religious at all, you know. I went to church a handful of times with my grandparents, and it was more of like a social thing. But when I was very little, I would go and walk out in nature by myself. And my parents would like, look, where is she? Where is she? And I would say I was praying. And I remember going out and talking to the trees and talking to Mother Nature, I called it.
So cute.
And I would just go off, and I remember hearing like this inner voice. And then when I grew up, you know, you have all this messaging of you're not worthy, you're not good enough, all this messaging coming at us all the time. And then you lose connection with that part of yourself. Or you're called like, oh, that's crazy. Like, no, you know, that's not real, because it's not a voice out there that I can hear with my ears. So the meditation to me is an invitation to go find that sacred place within and look for the answers that are within all of us.
Absolutely. Do you have a meditation practice?
I do it loosely. Like it's interesting. I did for a while where it was like more of a daily thing, but then it became a thing that calls to me. Like I can be working on something, and then all of a sudden I'll feel this like I need to meditate right now. There's something that's trying to come through. So then I'll go and meditate, and I'll listen for a message that's trying to come through. That's how I use meditation. I know a lot of people use it for like clearing their minds, and that's a really great thing too. But I like to use meditation as a tool to connect with my inner self and the world around me.
Yeah. I want to show an image. This, when, you know, one of the parts of the meditation that we worked on, you described this orb of light that we kind of imagined holding in our hands, right?
Yeah.
And this image kind of obviously represents a part of that moment of the meditation. Can you just talk about this a little bit? Like, what is this orb?
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah. This is such a great graphic, by the way. I love
Oh,
this one.
thanks to Brian Ray Norris for that. So I view the orb as our inner source of life. It is us. It's who we are from the beginning of time, who we always were, always will be. It's the source of our life and our light within. And that is where all of our answers lie. It's our inner wisdom. That's my visualization for it. It's our inner wisdom, and it's our inner compass. And we can touch base with it at any time for answers and direction. And that's just how I've always visualized it. That even like in Dagger, it's like we belong to one. We are rays leaving the sun. So everyone, you know, you've heard with spirituality, oh, the source, talk to source, or
Right.
like, you know, be in touch with
Source,
source.
yeah.
Source is what you could describe as like we all are source. We're all
Right.
connected
It's
to
light
that.
energy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Light
And so we
energy.
all are like little rays, like our own little orbs of light leaving a bigger orb, but we're all still connected, if that makes sense. That's the visualization that comes to mind.
Interesting. Yeah. There's an amazing book by Anita Morjani called Dying to Be Me. And she talks
Oh,
about, she had a near death experience, and
oh,
it
cool.
was heavy. She had lymphoma, like grapefruit size lymphoma cancer. Like
Wow.
she was going, and her family was coming basically to say goodbye to her. And she basically made this kind of breakthrough, like she talks about when she was in that half life. And if I remember correctly, she described it as like that the light, it's like a web. Well, I'm kind of just, but you know, can you imagine like how fabric is woven? And we are all these like threads of light that are kind of like,
So
and
cool.
she described something really
Wow.
similar, that we're all connected. We're in this fabric.
Wow.
And and she was able to be in multiple places at once. Like she was able to be with her brother as he was flying on the plane and could see exactly what he was doing. She was able to hear a conversation with doctors down the hall, and she told them back, like,
Wow.
you were saying this about me, and they're like, how could you have known that and stuff. But
Wow,
so
that's
so
so
basically,
cool.
when you're starting to splinter out into the, I don't know, into the vortex, I don't know, like into the whole kind of spectrum, right, of light. How it's just so wild, like some of the stories about this.
That's
But
so
it does
cool.
seem to have like this connection kind of part of light
Yeah,
pieces.
that's really cool.
I'm going to play Dagger. I made a quick little lyric video. There's not much going on
Oh,
here,
awesome.
but I want to understand, because again, you mentioned Dagger in Reprise in that second track. And what I'm so confused about what Dagger is.
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe
What
we'll
does
listen to.
dagger? Oh, yeah.
Okay,
I
go
would
ahead.
ask
You can
you,
ask
what
me.
does a dagger symbolize to you?
Well, when I first thought of it, it was, well, certainly something that to take life. It's something that is a weapon.
Mhm.
And what differentiates a dagger from a knife is that a dagger is a blade on two sides, right? It's a
Yep.
two-sided knife. So then I was like, oh, is she coming back to this kind of the life, the different spectrums of the two sides of the beauty or the darkness. So
Yeah.
so I don't know. So I'm still trying to kind of get it through my head. But then when you were like at the end, and we'll hear it in the lyric at the end of the song, like that you're raining down, it has this beautiful kind of image of raining light, but then like a dagger. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay, is the life force or the light force like a
Light force.
positive
Mhm.
or the other side? I don't know.
Exactly. Oh, okay. So you are spot on with a lot of
Oh,
this.
crazy.
This is
Okay.
well, no, this it all makes sense. Your interpretation is definitely very valid. Um, in my mind, it's we have to remember that we are souls, right? Having a human experience. That's the whole
Yeah.
vibe of this thing. So we aren't attached to this world the way our consciousness is, right? We are playing a role. Are you going to be someone that if you have the dagger of life, you can call it, are you going to use it for good or are you going to use it for bad? And both ways you're going to learn from it. Um, but also there's a deeper side to this that's really kind of spooky. And this is where I say things and I end up regretting it because I get a vulnerability hangover because it's just, wow, she's really mad. Like, this is absolutely crazy. But I'll go there with you because you're my sis and I know you don't judge me, but people listening might. Anyway,
No one's
when,
judging here. They
uh,
wouldn't be here.
oh, sweet. Well, when I was writing this music, I interpreted it after I wrote it. So a lot of this music I wasn't consciously writing. I would write it out and then I'd be like, what does that mean? Feel the ocean in your hand, feel the what does that even mean? Why did I write dagger? Why dagger? And then I would come to realize, and then once I get the idea of what's trying to come through, then I would go through it consciously and say, okay, let's tweak this, let's make this make a little more sense. But I went to a healer before I released this music. And this song has not been out anywhere. No one knows. It was before this music was out. It was last year. And I don't know why, but I had these recurring kind of, you could call them nightmares, or this feeling like when I release this music, I'm going to die somehow. Like, I don't know why. Like, I'm going to die. I'm going to get, like, something bad is going to happen. And I was like, where is this coming from? This is so weird. Like, this isn't me. And I didn't even tell Ben, and I tell him everything. It was just this passing undertone thought that I was like, this is just, I don't know why this fear is here. So I went to this healer and she said, I see there's a dagger in your side. And it has been put there every time that you release like any life that you lived and you created something, you were persecuted for it and you would get killed, or like this is a recurring thing that's happened a few times. And she's like, it's so weird, I just see you like a beam of light falling from the sky and then there's this dagger. And I was like, that's a line in my song. Like, she had no idea.
The
She had
music was
no
already
idea.
written and she
It was already
described.
written and she described the lyric in the song and she described this feeling that I hadn't told anyone I was having. And she said, okay, I'm going to remove the dagger from your side energetically. We're going to heal it. And I want you to know, like, this isn't going to happen in this life. You're fine. You're going to be fine. And so what in the world, right? Isn't that the spookiest, like weirdest thing? I mean, my jaw was dropped to the floor. It's like, there's no, like, how is this even possible? So that's this weird underlying element. When I was writing the song, I had no idea. Yeah.
Do you think so? Your subconscious just kind of felt that you had that this dagger existed as a metaphor or
As
something.
a metaphor. And like, and are you, like, in Reprise, it's like, are you the victim or the stabber?
Right.
And that's the choice we have to make as humans. Are you going to live with love and kindness, or are you going to be a villain? Are you going to cause pain, inflict pain on people and yourself? Are you going to even put the dagger in yourself? So that's kind of the suffering part of this.
I'm sorry, my video is very boring for this film. I like the 6/8 feel.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, babe. So sorry to do this and be that person. Again, back to the pronouns.
Yes.
So again, who are we to be when one became a we? Where are you
That's
coming
that
from?
going back to that orb of light. We are all from the same source. We are all the sea, but we are little droplets of water in that sea, but we're still the sea. We are little rays of sunlight, of light, but we are all still the original source.
Part of the whole. I'm just going to stop real quick because I just love some of these lyrics here. I love how this piece, and especially the final piece, it gives, it's like you're giving hope to the humans, right? It's like this powerful message that you're providing, right? What is this soul to fuse the cable?
Yeah.
This is,
if you were to imagine, one day this will be an animated film, hopefully like Fantasia or something. But this is when you are basically, let's say, wherever you feel your soul came from, your homeland. For me, I envision this Gallica Rose Nebula of energy. And I know that it's basically when you make the jump down to Earth, right? Leap down to whatever planet you're going to live on. Your soul fuses to your body, kind of like that tether I talked about earlier, that umbilical cord. You are tethered. That's the tether of life. And so let's do it. Fuse the cable.
Use
I'm
the
ready.
cable, strengthen that, right?
Yes.
Keep that tether. Yeah.
Like a dagger.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Just so good. The way that you sing like you sing it in two different ways, right? You sing it the first like this tough, fierce, like grah, and then so again, like I just love this expansive dynamics of your tone and the range and all the things. But this line, again, it was just like, it was a hard image for me to imagine in my mind, like shooting stars so bright, like, okay, all these things, but it's like a dagger. It's a little ominous. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's yeah. And I will say vocally, I mean, I want to commend Hayden Scott because he produced the vocals on this like so well. I mean, when I was recording with him, he inspired me so much of just like hold back, now let's give it. So like I was listening to the demo that I originally did and I'm just like wailing the whole song or like most of the song, just like really going for it. He's like, no, like hold back, let's hear this, like these different parts of your voice. Right. And then originally I never belted that last note, dagger, I never did that. I just went straight to this like part. And he was like, no, this is the time where we like really go hard with that. And so he really shaped the vocals of all of this and this song especially too.
And it's just such a good word. When do you hear that word dagger? Like it's so good. Yeah. So I think we're gonna wrap up pretty soon, but I wanted to just talk about the last the last song on the EP. I know we kind of skipped one, but how has the release of Enter the Vortex been going for you? I mean, just curious. It's been out for almost 2 weeks.
Almost 2 weeks,
so.
yeah.
And
well,
any crowd like favorites? I have a feeling that this last song is probably a favorite because to me it's like the song of hope. It's kind of the don't give up, we're in it, but you tell me.
Yeah, it's definitely this song is a favorite in Dagger. The two
Oh, interesting.
The two ones, which is kind of, when I was thinking about singles, those would be the two singles. They're shorter, they're more like, I guess they're more formulaic. So yeah, this is one of them for sure. And yeah, the release it's been so cool to get messages from people, and like how the music is affecting them. And I've heard multiple times that it's healing parts of them that they didn't even know needed to be healed. And that is exactly the like music to my ears of exactly what I would want any music that I create to do, is to have a positive effect on people,
It's
to,
almost the
because
best compliment you
it
could
is.
get.
It's the
Hmm.
best
Hmm.
compliment I could
Hmm.
get, is,
Hmm.
is that. And so I've been fortunate to get people who are kind enough to reach out and share their
Share that.
experience, and
Hmm. Hmm.
also the meditation that we did together. So many wonderful messages about how that's just, the people are doing it multiple times. It's like they're just
Amazing.
loving
Oh,
it.
that's
So
so wonderful to
that
hear.
means so much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. But like
So
anything,
cool.
it's like anytime you put out music, you spend so much time and energy and resources to have this big release. And it's so exciting when it happens. And then there's this big crash after it
Yeah.
because of all the energy. And like, we don't have these huge marketing machines behind us that are getting it out. And so it does go to a limited audience, and of course I would want it to get out to everyone that needs to hear it. And that was
Hmm.
my hope, long. And I know it's the long game of just, I want this music to get out to everyone that it's made for. And like, if everyone who needs to hear this, who needs this music in their life, that it finds them. And so,
Yeah.
that's my hope for it. So
Oh,
someday.
I love you so much,
I
Dylan
love
Louise. You're such
you.
a gift to the world,
No,
really.
you
And
are.
that's why I
You are.
wanted to have this conversation and at least share it, and allow
I
people to
appreciate
kind of do a deeper dive because when I first did my first listen, I was like, I want the lyrics, because I was
it.
like, I just wanted to understand more because I was
Yeah.
so intrigued about
Oh.
the storytelling with this, and I'm probably not the only one who feels like, okay, what's next? So
Ah.
you already have it kind of in your mind, huh? Oh, I
Yeah.
want to show an image. I wanted to show these
Oh,
characters. Oh
yes.
my God. Some people probably haven't seen this, but this is some of your kind of creation.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about
So
what is this?
I worked with an amazing designer, Lizzie Levitt, and she did all of the costumes for the photo shoots. And this would be like the ultimate dream budget. And this is when I was focusing more on being like a one woman band. But then I was like, there's no way I can play the guitar as well as someone that's their thing, and they come in and they just like nail it and do such a good job. There's no way I can be a drummer that my music needs. You know what I mean? So I was like, it's a
Yeah.
cool idea, it's fun, and I really have fun doing the one woman band videos and stuff. But this was kind of like, okay, here's the one woman band. Look, if I'm playing all these multiple characters, the Gallica 6. And
Oh, okay.
but eventually the idea is that when I do take this on stage, that there will be wild characters that the people who are playing the instruments will get to come up with themselves and work with the designer, something that they feel represents them as their, intergalactic alien soul character,
Creature. Okay.
creature.
So
Yeah,
these
but
aren't
these are
necessarily characters from your story, right?
they are
From,
actually
uh-huh.
these are characters from my own personal. They're very dramatized versions
Sure.
of um, guides that I've worked
Okay.
with this music. Thorn, not so much. Thorn is her own thing,
Okay.
but she's kind of represents the dark side of us, and she's really kind of cool and edgy,
Hmm.
and she plays
Hmm.
rhythm guitar, but you can't let her play lead because she'll take control a little bit too much. And I feel like these are all parts of me in a way. Like the daffodil, DYL, Dylan, that's my inner child.
Oh,
And you zoom in, I don't know if you
oh,
can see she's wearing a backpack with a little octopus in
octopus.
it. A little alien octopus. That
Oh,
was a
so
Lizzie Lovett
cute.
edition. Yeah. Um, yeah, crone is another one. Yeah, so these are all different, I guess, personifications of guides that I've worked with in the vortex, in the
In the
meditation.
vortex. Oh, so cool, Dylan. So cool. All right. I'm going to play the last song. Is there anything you want to say? You know, again, like to me, this last song is just kind of the message of hope and
Yeah.
that like you mentioned before, that all the answers are inside of us.
Yeah.
And sometimes we need to spend that time going into the vortex, into ourselves, into our heart, into that kind of remembering our tethered, connection to the light that is
Yeah.
in you, that is in me,
Mhm.
right? That's what namaste
Mhm.
means. And making that time to tune in. It's
Yeah,
so important, especially
it
in this
is.
day and age. We're so busy,
Yeah.
and we forget to breathe, and we forget to listen to
Mhm.
our knowing,
Yeah, we're
right?
so used to listening to our ego, our mind, the chatter of our mind. And so, with the meditation that we created, and the idea of it is to tune out that part, say, okay, ego, like, I appreciate you. You keep me safe. You keep me protected. Let's have you go over here to this corner for a little bit. I'll come back to you later. And then going in and finding the real truth that is underneath all the social programming that we've had our whole lives. That is the true essence of ourselves. And so, yeah, and this song, Deep in My Heart, you're right. It is meant to be a message of hope and the choice to live, and which is not an easy choice for everyone, and
Yeah.
visually in this the movie that one day will be created. It's the final moments before you choose to make that dive and go down to earth and be a human. And it's like
Wow.
scared. I have to be brave to do this. I have to be brave to live. I have to be brave. And I know that deep in my heart, I will always have this inner compass and I will remember
Yeah.
who I am. Because when I go down to earth and I play the role of Dylan, play the role of Laura, I'm going to forget who I am because I have to be present and learn all these lessons. I have to be there. But one day, maybe like listening into our, tapping into our intuition, our inner compass, will always know our true selves and know our way and our path.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. It made me think again back to Anita Morjani's book, that when, the reason she was able to come back, basically what her guides or what she discovered in that her near death experience, she's like, there's nothing to fear. Like, just
Mm,
have the faith. We are all love. We are all from the essence of love. And if you don't live your life in fear, everything's going to be okay. Your cancer
yeah.
is going to be healed. Everything is going to work itself out. And so she
Wow.
said, okay, I'm going to come back and I'm not going to live in fear anymore. Fear
Wow.
is what created my illness. Fear is what created all the problems in my life. I'm going to have trust that I don't need to be afraid. And it all just like fixed itself.
So
It's
cool.
insane, our ability to heal ourselves. And if we,
Yeah.
it's
And
such a
our
good
power,
reminder.
we are such powerful beings, every one of us. And there's just some messaging that is, I don't know, it's a plague on earth that we're not powerful, that we're not worthy. And it's something I have to work daily to deprogram and try to get those thoughts out of my head. Um, so it kind of takes an arm. We all have to do it together.
100%, 100%. Yes. We're going to jump into this. Another very simply crafted lyric video by Laura
I love
Scarborough.
it. Thank you. I love it.
I just love the lyrics. It's nice to hear them and see them.
If home is where the heart is, then why can't I feel mine beating? If love can't take the breath away, how can it if I'm not breathing? A brave new world, but I've gotta try. day. Deep in my heart, I'll always find my way. If life is so precious, how can I know this without dying? If it's better to have loved and lost than not at all, how can I know this without trying? A strange new world calls to me, and I'm running to who I wanna be. 'Cause deep in my heart, there is hope for a new day. Deep in my heart, I'll always find my way. Deep in my heart, I'll always find my
So sweet. So sweet.
What an ending.
Oh, thanks. And then we go straight to
Ooh, is that a sneak
that's
peek?
the
Oh, is that
beginning of
act
the next.
two?
Yep.
I didn't know you were sitting at your piano.
I am. This is my workstation. Always got to have a
Oh
piano
my
right there.
gosh, you little stinker. I had no idea you were holding out. Oh my goodness, Dylan, I hope we can do this again sometime. This was so
Yes.
fun. I want to try to keep it tight.
Yeah. Thank you so
But
much for
oh my
taking
gosh,
time
oh,
with me
I
today.
love you so much. I'm
Love
so proud of
you.
you. I'm so honored to know you, and just I feel like a lucky girl that we've gotten to spend so much time together, and we've had
No,
adventures,
I
and we
know.
it's
Yeah,
and
it's
I just like I'm
amazing.
always cheering. I'm your cheerleader from afar over here in the
Oh,
Netherlands, and
likewise.
I really hope I get to see you again sometime soon.
I
That I can make
know.
it stateside and come
That'd be
visit you and
amazing.
Ben.
I'd love
And
that. And we got to come over to see y'all too.
yeah, we're here holding down the fort. I'll put all the
Oh,
links to everything, to your Patreon page, and to just link it up, Buttercup, to the,
alrighty.
as we like to say, and
Yep. Yep.
and I'll put a link to the meditation, and get
Okay,
this
cool.
up,
And thanks
and
again for your
hopefully
incredible.
people got something out of this, and I hope they
Yeah,
comment, if they kind of learned something that they didn't know before in regards to the music and the lyrics. I think
absolutely.
it's oh,
She knew we were
hello.
ending, I guess, because she wanted to come
She
over
knew
and say
it's my
hi.
time. It's my
Yep.
she's such
It's
a
a good girl. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
sweetie.
Okay, thank you.
Kisses.
Oh my gosh. Well, thank you so much.
Awesome.
And
I love
thank you for your amazing work on the meditation. I mean,
of
you
course.
brought that to life. It's just incredible, the sonic work that you did. I mean,
Thank you.
dream come true. a dream come
Oh,
true.
it was
So
my pleasure, and you deserved it. And
mm,
I do what I can. I did it in a pretty tight
amazing.
time frame, but
It's incredible. I know. No
and
thanks
it
to me.
is 40 minutes of sound design, but
I know.
so
I
I mean,
know.
I wish I had had more time. I mean, you can keep going forever and forever and forever
I think what you
and
did was
think it's,
absolutely
but
perfect.
I just wanted to support it and
Thank you.
yeah, and just try to give people an experience and keep it interesting and support the visuals and because it's like you're creating pictures in your mind. So anything we can kind of do to support that musically, that's a added benefit aside from just
Oh,
the
so
words. So,
yeah. Thank you so
all
much.
right.
I love
Well,
you.
thanks for this convo and
Yeah. Thank you.
I'll talk to you soon. All right.
Bye.
Bye.